Hello and welcome to another IELTS speaking practice class by Johnny IELTS. So this is 3 students left from class IELTS 40. 3 bạn còn lại trong lớp IELTS 40 của John. Hôm nay các bạn sẽ luyện speaking nha. Alright, so we've done a lot. Let's go to topic number 40. Oh, we did 40 already. Let's do science, okay? So, do you like science, Mr. Trung?
Yeah, I do like science. Because thanks to science, we could have the advance in technology that can help us to
better our life. Động từ to better.
To better our life. For example, scientists were able to create the computer, the smartphone, or even go out of the Earth into the space. So I really like that.
Into outer space. Không có the space nha. Không có mạo từ the. Into outer space.
Yeah, into outer space. Science betters our life. So I really like science.
Right. What kind of science exactly, Mr. Trung? Like, what kind of science? Like, because science, there's so many subcategory. You know, subcategory. Những cái phụ thêm những cái mà chia nhỏ ra. There are many subcategories in science. Like, for example, science about what?
Science. In my opinion, science is. I just like science in general, as long as can better people's life. I love that. For example, thanks to math, we can improve our calculation when doing business or buying something at a supermarket.
Calculation.
Yeah.
Không chỉ calculation đâu. Còn nhiều cái khác.
And thanks to the medicine, we can find a treatment to the cure that was previous not be cure. The cure
cannot be cured previously, right?
Yeah.
That cannot be cured before. Let's just say that cannot be cured before, okay? Nó nghe tự nhiên hơn nhiều. It sounds more natural. Okay, so Mr. Ung, please. So, do you like science?
Well, to be honest, I'm not exactly like a big fan of science because it's always been a really hard topic to me. Although that I know it's going to like help me to acquire an in-depth and understanding of the world, I usually find it really like complicated to understand.
Right. How about you, Mr. Phúc? Do you like science?
Oh, in my opinion,
Yeah.
I don't like science much because it is me feel because I can understand what science teach me, and actually I don't really like to learn science.
Right, I see. It's hard for you, right?
Yeah.
To be honest, science is not that easy to teach, and you need to really understand science well, and you need to have really good teachers in order to teach science well. Không có dễ gì dạy science được đâu nha. And it requires a lot of talent. Yes, let's say that. Okay. So, Phúc, when did you start to learn about science?
Well, I remember that I started to learn science when I was in grade 8.
Yes.
I first learned about chemistry, biology.
Yes.
And yeah.
Right, physics, chemistry, and biology. Right, so for what science subject is interesting to you and why?
Well, actually, I don't like science much, but if I need to answer this question, I believe that chemistry is the one that I think is easy to me. And
Yes. All right, so Mr. Krum, please. So which science subject is interesting to you and why?
In my opinion, I am interested in chemistry. Yeah. Uh, when I was a student at high school, uh, the chemistry class always surprised me with the um, experiments. It could explain how uh, the the chemicals interacts with each other, and I find it's really surprising. So I I do feel interested in this, chemistry.
Okay, very good. So Mr. Trung, please. So when did you start to learn about science? What happened, folks? You
Yeah.
said that the whole month you got scolded. Phúc nói cả tháng em bị trừ quá chừng. Of course, you got scolded for the whole month because a lot of bad things happened. Yeah. I'm sorry, Phúc. I feel for you. I'm sorry that it happened to you. But anyway, Trung, please. So when did you start to learn about science then?
I started to learn about science when I was a high schooler.
High
Back
schooler.
then, I was given lessons about math, physics, chemistry, and biology. Yeah, so just like other students, I was able to learn science in high school.
I see. Right, so Mr. please. So what kinds of interesting things have you done with science?
Um, I guess that because I'm not really a big fan of science, so that there have been just a few occasions that I've had fun doing scientific experiments in my class. Well, I remember there was one time I did experiments about chemistry in my chemistry class, and we had to burn the substances, and also it was kind of dangerous for students of us to do so, but the whole class was filled in smoke, and everybody actually, had a really good time together.
Well, it's good that you feel that way, because a lot of people, they don't feel interested at all in science. They think it's just something they have to do, a chore. You know what a chore is? A chore is basically something you really have to do, but you don't enjoy it. Một cái chuyện mà cứ phải cực chẳng đã mới phải làm thôi. A chore is like, for example, washing the dishes, rửa chén chẳng hạn. It's a chore. Nobody wants to do that, but you have to do it anyway. It's a chore. Okay, so Phúc, please. So do you think people should learn science more?
I think that people need to learn about science more because actually it can help you. Maybe it's they are interested, but it can help you to know a lot of things, like know about word, know about how animal in the earth exists.
How the animals on the earth existed, right? And
Yeah,
how they
existed.
died.
Yeah. And also know about know about a lot of hóa chất
chemicals,
chemicals.
and know about a lot of chemicals, I say. Anything else? Okay, so Phúc, please, what kinds of interesting things have you done with science? Cứ quên đi những công thức, quên đi mấy cái mà làm mình khó chịu đi. Just forget about all the things that you feel bad about science. Let's focus, tập trung vào những điều mà interesting, thú vị. Focus on interesting thing you have done for science or with science. Can you tell us?
Well, actually, I remember that when I was in grade 9, my chemistry teachers, like she have done interested experiment.
Interesting experiment. Em đang miêu tả cái
Interesting
bản chất của nó.
experiment.
You're describing the nature of that experiment is interesting experiment.
Interesting experiment, and I see it, like I quite like it, and when my team like go back to our group and try to make that experiment, and actually we broke a lot of
Yes.
like dụng cụ hóa học.
We broke a lot of instruments, right?
Yeah.
Instrument. We broke a lot of test tubes. You know, test tubes là ống nghiệm. We broke a lot of test tubes. Cái test tube là cái mà dễ bị bể nhất á. Test tubes are the thing that can be broken the easiest, you know. And also we have something called Erlenmeyer tubes. I think Erlenmeyer flask. I'm not so sure if I remember how to write it. Erlenmeyer, I think. Erlenmeyer flask là cái giống như là cái bình nhỏ nhỏ, cái lọ nhỏ nhỏ để mình ly độ để mình titration. Okay, so with the test tube and instruments. So, Mr. Trung, please, do you think people should learn science more?
I think this is a hard question.
It is.
Yeah, it is undeniable that science is important, but we should base on the learner's ability to recommend them whether they should learn science more or not.
Well,
because for some,
what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
Okay, so because for some people they are good as social subjects such as history, literature, linguistics, and for some people they could perform better with science. So we should base on the learner's capacity to recommend whether people should learn science more or not. Yeah.
Right, so it's all about the interest, I think. Okay, so let's talk about, let's go to part 2 and part 3 now. Okay, 41 is done. Let's go to part 2 and part 3. Okay, guys and girls. 86. Okay, so we have a topic here. Describe a time when you were friendly to someone you didn't like. A time you were friendly to someone you didn't like. Miêu tả một thời điểm mà bạn lúc đó đã sao ta? Thân thiện với một cái người mà mình không thích gì hết. You don't really like that person. You should say when and where it happened. Tức là phải cười thảo mai. You have to be friendly to someone you really don't like. So when and where it happened là diễn ra lúc nào vậy và chỗ nào. Who he or she was, người này là ai vậy. Why you didn't like this person, tại sao mình không có ưa cái người này. Explain why you were friendly to him or her on that occasion. Giải thích tại sao mình đã thân thiện với cái anh ta hoặc cô ta trong cái dịp đó. And then you have part 3 now. Why are people friendly with a person they don't like? Tại sao con người ta lại thân thiện với cái người mà họ không thích? You know how they say that, right? Keep friends close, keep enemies closer. Để bạn bè ở gần mình nhưng mà kẻ thù ở gần hơn nữa. Maybe that's what they think. Maybe you can learn a lot from your enemies. Maybe you can learn a lot from the people you don't like. Maybe. Okay, so what kinds of people are usually friendly? Có những loại người nào, kiểu người nào thì thường là friendly? Think about why they have to be friendly with you. Do they want to sell you something? Muốn bán đồ hả? Or maybe they want to gain something from you. Muốn có được cái gì? Hoặc là maybe it's just because they are normally friendly. Có thể là tại vì bản chất của họ là friendly, thích kết bạn chẳng hạn. Or maybe just because they like you, maybe. You know, usually people are friendly with someone because they like that someone, I think. I'm not so sure if you agree with me, but if you agree with me or not, but that's just my impression, you know. But the question asks what kinds of people, okay? Try to be creative. Ráng là sao sáng tạo ra, nghĩ về nhiều loại người mà thường là friendly. What are the differences between being friendly and being polite? Có sự khác biệt nào giữa cái chuyện mà lịch sự và cái chuyện thân thiện không? Like some people they have to be polite in social situations, but they are not exactly friendly. Like for example, flight attendants, they have to be friendly and polite, but they are not exactly friendly, right? Because just their job requires them to smile a lot and to serve you. So they are being polite, but they are not exactly friendly. Mấy cái người mà tiếp viên hàng không đâu có chắc là họ friendly đâu, tại vì cái bản chất công việc của họ là phải làm như thế thôi. Well, you have to describe the differences and give some example. Well, some people they work in service sector. They have to be polite. They have to be extremely polite. But a lot of the time, if they have to choose, they're not friendly, you know. Nó giống kiểu bằng mặt không bằng lòng á, giống kiểu mà mình cứ lịch sự để mà giữ không khí thôi chứ không có hề thực sự là thân thiện á. Alright, so you have to find the differences. And what do you think of the people who are always straightforward? To be straightforward. To be straightforward là làm sao? Thẳng thắn, nói thẳng, nói thật. They are really they say what they think in their mouth, from their mouth, from their brain. They think and then they say it out loud. You know, they have no concerns over your. They might have no concerns over your feelings. You know, but if some people they are concerned about your feelings, they might not be straightforward. Nếu mà người ta lo về cái cảm xúc của người đối diện thì người ta sẽ không straightforward đâu. Nhưng mà nhiều người họ thẳng như ruột ngựa đó. Nói thẳng như mặt đó. Nhưng thì nó ảnh hưởng rất là nhiều đến cái cảm xúc người khác. Of course, if you're too straightforward, it affects the feeling of the others. So the question asks, what do you think of the people who are always straightforward? Always straightforward, okay? Bạn nghĩ gì về những người mà cứ luôn luôn thẳng thắn quá? And you should give examples of what you think too, you know. All right, time to talk about it. Now, Mr. Trung, please. Can you describe a time when you were friendly to someone you didn't like? Yeah, đối với bọ cạp chắc không nói chuyện này đâu. With Scorpios, I don't think you would do this, but let's try. Maybe you do. You have to do, maybe. Mr. Trung, please.
Yeah. So, in case you didn't know, my previous job was to be a customer service. So,
of course, you told me.
There were so many people that I didn't like, but I had to be friendly. But I had to be friendly. Okay, so the situation happened on the phone when someone called.
Called. Kéo dài. When someone called. When someone called.
Yeah, when someone called to complain about that. The hotel didn't check them in, and uh, the problem was simple, but uh, they took me a lot of time to listening to their complaints, and with such time, I could go on to their reservation page, look for the problem and help them. So, because we mostly worked on the phone, so I didn't know who his or she was except their name. Okay, the thing I dislike about this person is uh, they swear and they swore.
They
Okay,
swear a lot,
they,
right?
they swore. So, but uh, being friendly is a part of my job, so I need to keep calm, acted friendly to them, and help them solve the problem in uh, fashionable manner. Yeah.
Right.
In
Okay,
yeah,
so okay, so it sounds like you have to deal with that every day since your last job, yeah, in your last job. Okay,
yeah.
I'm glad that you are in a new position now, so you don't have to do that. I see. Ủa sao mấy bạn tắt mic hết rồi? Why do you turn off all of your microphone? Come on. Okay, Mr. Phúc, please. Can you describe a time when you were friendly to someone you didn't like?
Actually, is when I was in grade 9, we need to study in group, and the leader of my group is the one who I hate most. So because it's for our group, so I cannot be like hợp tác này, không không hợp tác thì
So
chống đối anh
I
thầy.
decided not to cooperate, right?
I decided to cooperate with
Not
him.
cooperate. You don't know the word cooperate? To
No,
cooperate. Nó gọi là hợp tác hay còn gọi là hợp tác làm việc, hoặc là nói chung là mình không hợp tác hay là mình hợp tác với người ta để làm một cái việc gì đó.
yeah,
I decided to
I
cooperate. So
decided to cooperate with him because I don't want our group to be the worst group in our class, and he is also uh he also he have a important role in our class, and I didn't like him because like he always asking after a exam, and we
yes.
have a point. He always asking people who have a very low point, and he make a joke at them. So actually, I don't like it.
Be careful with the verb, okay? Cẩn thận cái thì của từ nha, của động từ nha.
I need to be friendly with him because I want our group to be in a first place in our class.
Okay, right. So that's why you have to be friendly to him or her on that occasion. I see. Nên có một câu kết lại nha. You need a sentence to conclude, okay? Nè, sao các bạn tắt mic hết vậy? Why do you have to turn off all your microphone? I don't see any reason for that. Okay, Tường, please. Giờ hết tiếng ồn rồi mà. Lọc tiếng ồn rồi mà. Don't worry about the noise. Tường, please.
I would like to a person who I had to be friendly to, although that I did not really like her. I guess that the situation is quite common in our lives, especially when we have to act as a part of a team. Like a couple of months ago, when I was still 11th grader, I was assigned to a team in my class in order to tackle a project. As a part of a team, I had to cooperate closely with this person. But however, we had never really liked each other for several reasons. The first one is that she always thinks that she's right and
Oh my
disregards
god, those
the
kind of people are
opinion of
terrible. Mấy loại người đó
others.
chán lắm luôn á. Luôn nghĩ mình đúng.
Yeah.
Those kind of people are terrible.
So I would describe her as both bossy and officious. Although that we're
Wait, what was that
classmates.
last word? Bossy and
Officious.
audacious. Cả gan hả? Audacious, right? Is that the word you're trying to say? Audacious. Mr. Is that the word you're trying to say? I can't hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, okay, you know. Is that the word you're trying to say? Audacious?
Yeah.
Okay, cả gan á, tức có chữ audacity. Audacity là cái mức độ gan dạ, cả gan làm gì đó. So audacious, okay, good. Có nhiều người họ kỳ lắm. Like some people, their characteristics is just really bad, you know. Okay, is that all?
Yeah, so the second reason is that I considered her irresponsible because she did not appear to me to pay any attention to the project. But it was important. It was really important to me that I had to collaborate with her to get my score in my class. So I had to, pay all of my patience and attention to collaborate with her to get the score for my team.
Okay, so I see that's it. Okay, let's go to part 3 now. So Mr. Ng, why are people friendly with a person they don't like? What do you think?
Well, I guess that there are different reasons for being friendly to someone that you don't like. But I guess that the most common one is that you have to learn something about that person. For example, if you're competitive with your enemy
Competitive.
In any competitions, that you need to get to know more about that person, so you may get closer to that person to learn the new things that you may be essential in your life. And for the second reasons, I guess that because of their personality or the characteristics, like maybe they're a friendly person, so they can interact with any kinds or any types of person, even though that they are not really interested in them.
All right. So I see. So what do you think, Mr. Trung? Why are people friendly with a person they don't like?
Okay, so in real life, there are times people have to be friendly with a person they don't like. The reason can be their job requirements. For example,
Yes, that's their job requirements. You cannot escape from them.
Yeah. Okay. For example, you can find a lot of examples in the customer success sector. Another reason can be contributed to keeping the atmosphere.
To keep the atmosphere? Huh? What kind of atmosphere?
I mean, another reason is to keep the atmosphere comfortable or gentle.
Or gentle? You mean keep the atmosphere mild? You know the word mild, right? Mild, nó nhẹ nhẹ, vừa phải. To keep the atmosphere mild and pleasant. You can use the word pleasant as well. Nó vui vẻ, nó pleasant. To keep the atmosphere pleasant. Nobody wants to pick up a fight, you know.
That's it. Yeah.
Không ai muốn cãi lộn. No one wants to pick up a fight.
but there's always an inner fire
Oh, I
between
see.
people, yeah, and the this situation can be mostly found in the office.
Of
Okay, so
course, of course.
yeah,
You don't want to make
yeah,
trouble, do you? You don't want to make enemies, do you?
yeah, yeah. So I think um, the reason people are friendly with the person they don't like can be um, uh, the job requirement or their tendency to keep the atmosphere pleasant.
Mm-hmm. I see. Right, okay, so Mr. Fook, please, so what kinds of people are usually friendly?
Hmm. The one who try to make a lot of friends and to improve their mối quan hệ xã hội gì này,
On social media. On
to
social
improve
media.
their social
On
media,
social media.
to improve on social media.
Yes. You don't want to look
And
bad, you know? You don't want to look
yeah,
bad on social media.
and the one who try like try to who try not to make other people feel sad
You
about
mean
it.
it is to care for the feelings of others, right?
Yes.
To care for the feelings of others. Chăm sóc cảm xúc của người khác, quan tâm cảm xúc người khác. Well, I often do that. I'm usually friendly, and but some people they just don't deserve that, you know. I see. Right. So, Mr. So Mr. Phúc, please. So, do you know why people are friendly with a person they don't like?
I'm sorry, it's my turn.
No, no, no. I'm asking Mr. Phúc. Do you know why people are friendly with a person they don't like, Mr. Phúc?
Well, nothing that I think because they want to kill uh, uh, relationships. Because they want to keep that relationship and they don't want they don't want kiểu không muốn bị nói bị đồn này.
They don't want to be on a. They don't want to have rumors about them. Yeah. They
Yeah.
don't want to have rumors about them.
They don't
Không muốn
want
có
to
lời
have the
đồn đại.
rumors
They don't want to have
about them.
rumors about them. Bad rumors, you know. And you don't want enemies. Of course, không muốn có kẻ thù trong nơi làm việc chẳng hạn. You don't want enemies. So that's why people have to be friendly, even with people they don't like, you know. So Phúc, try again. Thử lại đi Phúc. Why are people friendly with a person they don't like?
Well, in my opinion, I think that because they want to keep their relationships and they don't want to have like uh, when it's story, they don't want to have enemy in their class and also in their workplace. They just want to be more they just want to be
Uh-huh.
yeah, no,
They want to be what?
they want to be they want want to keep that relationship.
Uh-huh. Muốn giữ mối quan hệ. They want to keep that relationship. I see. Good. Don't want to lose friends, you know. Okay, so Mr. Trung, please. So, do you know the differences between being friendly and being polite?
Hmm. Yeah. Um, as a adult, I still find it hard to tell the differences between being friendly and being polite. But in some situation, we should carefully read a person's actions and they and the way they interact with the people around them to tell being friendly and being polite apart. Yeah. Yeah. But that's it. It's very hard to tell the difference between being friendly and being polite, to be honest.
Right, I see. Okay, so Mr. Trung, what do you think of the people who are always straightforward? Người mà cứ luôn luôn
Yeah.
thẳng thắn.
I think being straightforward is a good characteristic, especially when people are working. You know, uh, uh, when the employer is clear with their vision, their plan, their numbers, everything should be straightforward to avoid misunderstanding and miscommunication with the colleague and the departments. However, in some situation, being straightforward can bring that person some problems. Um, the truth is hard, and some people can don't like to hear the truth, and they just want to listen to reply. So that's therefore a straightforward person can
People.
receive people can receive a lot of hatred from others.
Oh, well, that's true.
Yeah,
Aren't that the
yeah,
truth? And then
yes.
it's not a good thing, in a workplace especially. You don't want enemies.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, but straightforward. It's just a characteristic, and everything has its good sides and a bad sides, uh, and so is being straightforward. And people people in life should pick a trait they can follow, a trait that can define them. And being straightforward is one of such traits. Yeah.
Right, so Mr. Please, so what do you think? What are the differences between being friendly and being polite then?
The way I see it, like friendliness tends to be associated with like the character or personality of one person, while politeness depends on their level of education. Like when people are friendly, they tend to be approachable. They treat others like friends and make them feel comfortable when being around this person. But if someone is polite, then they tend to treat the others with respect and not and try not to be offensive when talking to the others. So, although I believe that people can be educated to be polite, but for the friendly people, they are the friendliness is in the blood. Like there's something nature about their personality.
There's something nature about their personality? What do you mean?
Like something that's in the blood, like they are born, they were born with
there's something they were
that.
born that way, right?
Yeah.
Right, I see. Right. Okay, so Mr. What do you think of people who are always straightforward? Would you like to be them?
Well, I guess that someone who's always telling truth to the other people. I guess that is just really I really appreciate their honesty and efficiency. You know, these types of people at the workplace or in schools or at anywhere, they will always tell us the truth and are never afraid to share their honest and opinion. But actually, that in some situations that we need to say things in a more gentle and more like a softer ways in order to not to make the others feel offensive and
Wait, feel offended nha, feel offended.
offended.
Tính từ bị động. To make others feel offended. Okay.
And you know what we call, and like especially in some specific situations when a patient asks a doctor to tell them about the status of their disease or their disease, but if the doctor are always straightforward to the patients, they kind of feel no hope and they are not trying to fight with the disease. So I guess that being light sometimes is not a really bad idea, especially in the the circumstances that one need to be that one need to avoid the honesty and trying to tell the good things about a person.
I see. Right. Okay. So, Phúc, please, what do you think of the people who are always straightforward then?
Well, actually, in my opinion, I think that the people who always straightforward, like he will have, maybe he will have less friends, but if he have friends, this will be like the friend who's always like the friend who always resign if he want to, and the people who straightforward is like many people don't like them because maybe they hurt their feelings and they don't like that.
It might hurt their feeling and they don't like that. So what is the consequence of that? Cái hậu quả nó là gì? Think about the consequences.
The people who are always straightforward will have less friends than the people who being friendly to people who will have less friends than people who friendly to the one who hate the one. Yeah.
Right, I see. But besides from that, let's think about this way. Straightforward people, they don't have many friends, of course, because of what you said, but they will have the right one. Ít bạn nhưng mà có những bạn đúng, chứ không phải là bè nhiều nhưng mà không có ai là bạn thực sự của mình đó. Well, sometimes I believe that's one way to go, but it is not beneficial if you are doing things that requires the support of a lot of people, you know. Mình làm gì mà cần phải có sự ủng hộ của nhiều người á, thì cái chuyện đó nó sẽ rất là tệ. So I don't think it's a right way to be too straightforward, you know. Phải nghĩ đến cảm xúc người khác. You need to think about the feelings of others too. Alright, so let's do 87. Let me just move this one backward a bit. There you go. Okay, describe a person who solved a problem in a smart way. Miêu tả một người mà đã giải quyết một cái vấn đề cho một cách rất là thông minh. You should say who this person is, what the problem is, vấn đề gì vậy, người này là ai, how he or she solved it, người này giải quyết nó như thế nào. Explain why you think he or she did it in a smart way. Cẩn thận cái thì quá khứ các bạn. Careful with past tense and the verbs, okay? Careful. Now, and then part 3. Do you think children are born smart? To be born smart, được sinh ra đã thông minh. Of course, you can be born ugly, được sinh ra đã thấy xấu xấu. To be born beautiful, được sinh ra đã đẹp. Something like that, you know. Do you think children are born smart or they learn to become smart? Bạn nghĩ rằng trẻ nhỏ được sinh ra đã thông minh hay là chúng phải học để trở nên thông minh hơn? Well, it's a hard question. How do children become smart at school? Làm thế nào trẻ nhỏ trở nên thông minh ở trường? Well, think about many different things they can be, you know. Nó có nhiều dạng smart lắm nha. Nó có là book smart, thông minh sách vở thôi. Nó gọi là thông minh sách vở, tức là chỉ thông minh trong trường học mà giỏi được giải này giải kia. If you are book smart, you can achieve a lot in school, in academic environment. You can achieve certificates and things like that. But there are also another kind of smart, that is street smart. Thông minh gọi là thông minh đường phố, hay còn gọi là lanh lẹ, biết nắm bắt đó. Thông minh đường phố, lanh lẹ, biết nắm bắt đó. Thường cái này là của những cái bạn mà ra đời sớm á. Like people who are street smart, they are very perceptive, cảm nhận tốt, cảm nhận nhiều thứ, nhanh nhạy. They can be very perceptive of their environments, and they know what's good for them, and they're very quick to react. Phản ứng lại khá nhanh. They are quick to react, and well, it is street smart, you know. They might not be good with their studies, may not be that good, but on the street, they survive very well. Trên đường phố là họ gọi là tồn tại rất tốt luôn á. Đem quăng ra đường là cái sống được liền. Street smart people, they survive very well on the street. And they can survive on their own because they are independent and they are smart, you know. Vừa độc lập mà vừa thông minh trên đường phố đó. But they're also other kind of smart, I think. Book smart, street smart. What else? You can be smart in other things as well. Có thể thông minh về nhiều mảng khác nhau. Ví dụ tình cảm đó, emotionally smart chẳng hạn. Emotionally smart. Thông minh về mặt cảm xúc. If your EQ is high, emotional quotient, you know. IQ là intelligent quotient. Một cái là trí thông minh cảm xúc, cái trí thông minh mà về lý tính. If your EQ is high, you are emotionally smart. You pick on the emotions of others very quickly, and you react appropriately. Và mình phản ứng lại một cách rất là phù hợp luôn á. Mình hiểu được cái cảm xúc người khác rất là nhanh chóng và mình phản ứng lại rất là phù hợp. Đó chính là EQ cao đó các bạn. Well, how do children become smart at school? Trẻ nhỏ trở nên thông minh hơn ở trường như thế nào? Why are some people well-rounded? You know the word well-rounded, right? Hình tròn, tròn trĩnh. Well-rounded tức là văn võ song toàn á. Like for example, Phúc is actually well-rounded. Why? Because he plays 5 different kind of sports. And he studies quite well as well. Not bad. And his English is not bad. And his family is not poor. His family is actually quite good. Nói chung là Phúc là đầy đủ đấy, well-rounded đấy, văn võ song toàn đấy. Wait, Phúc, do you know martial arts? Em biết võ không vậy?
Chưa có học mà giờ nghĩ rồi.
Võ thuật thôi. Right, but you
Từ
still
lâu lắm
remember,
rồi.
right? You still remember, right?
Nhớ một chút.
Okay, martial art. Vậy là văn võ song toàn còn gì nữa? Yeah, that's well-rounded, yes. Okay, why are some people well-rounded and others only good at one thing? Tại sao một số người lại hoàn hảo, hoàn mỹ, đủ thứ giỏi như vậy, và một số người khác chỉ giỏi một thứ thôi? Well, think about some reasons why, you know. They say that everybody are talented, but you have to find your talent and activate it, you know. Ai cũng tài năng cả, nhưng mà mình phải tìm ra cái tài năng đó của mình và mình kích hoạt nó. Okay, why does modern society needs talents of all kinds? Tại sao xã hội hiện đại lại cần những tài năng của tất cả mọi chủng loại, tức là mọi loại tài năng khác nhau? Thì tại sao xã hội lại cần như thế? This is a big question. You need to think about it. You need talents in art, in technology, in solving problems, in medicines, in language, and in other things. And you should give examples, you know. Cái quan trọng cái câu này là cho examples nhiều vô. Just give more example in this question, you will be okay. Alright. Okay, Mr. Trung, please, can you describe a person who solved a problem in a smart way? Cẩn thận mấy cái quá khứ các bạn ơi. Mr. Trung, please, your microphone on. Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of a person who solved a problem in a smart way, yes, what
Sao bên mạng kia tệ quá vậy, cái tiếng nó cứ giật giật tắt là sao trời?
hi. Speaking about a person who solved a problem in a smart way, I suggest
Okay,
my
that's good
mother.
now.
I suggest my mother. Once there was a problem with
Yes.
there was a conflict between me and my father. So normally, people would get together to talk and to come into a final agreement. However, my mother talked to me in person and talked to my father in person, and she convinced us to talk with each other again. And I think it is a really smart to solve conflict. You don't need to get the people together, but you can talk to them in person and be a mediator between them and find a final ground for the sides that are in the conflict. Yeah.
Okay. Right, okay. So, Miss Tường, please describe a person who solved a problem in a smart way. Can you? Miss Tường, your microphone. Okay.
Well, I would like to talk about a person who has solved his problem in an odd, smart way. So, last week I visited my uncle and his family for a small get together, and after finishing our dinner together, he told me and my two cousins about the problem that he had.
Mm-hmm.
So he was not like able to reach the door to his attic since he was, rather short.
Oh.
We we suggested him to get the ladder, but it was, unapproachable. So thing was, he wanted to go up there to clean it and make it a place where he can like store the old items and his personal things. So after a while, he came up with a plan. He took like the two wooden brooms and then unscrewed the handles, and then he taped them together, and then taped a hook at the end of the stake.
Oh.
So it was as if he came up with a really ingenious way to open the attic door. and therefore solving the problem once and for all. So I guess that at the beginning I have never thought of this way that he could solve his problem of being about his hate or whatever like that. But I guess that with a smart guy like him, he could
A
solve
smart
a
guy, không
smart
dùng chữ guy nha, không dùng chữ guy nha, không dùng guy. A
person.
smart person like him.
A smart person like him could solve any problem in his daily life basis.
Okay, great. Okay, Phúc, your turn. Please describe a person who solved a problem in a smart way.
Well, well, this person is my classmate, and actually he was very smart. Also, like he learned very good. He was the top one in my school, in my secondary school, and
School. Ooh.
school,
Yes.
and before he have a problem that he's like he how can I say I have exam and he have like a low point, and he said to the teacher that the teachers have some mistake in his exam, but the teachers don't don't want to phúc khảo lại
They don't want
chấm lại
to reassess my
or
test.
the
To
teachers
reassess the
don't
test. Or to
the
rescore to
teacher
reassess the test.
the teacher don't want to reassess
Didn't want to.
his
Quá khứ.
didn't want to
Didn't want to
reassess
reassess the
the
test.
test,
So
so my classmate decided to bring that exam to the co-principal and to talk with her about why about the about why his teachers didn't want to reassess his test, and he is quite and also the co-principal don't want to reset the test because it's too difficult for their teachers, and after that he also decided to go straight to the principal and talk with him about the test. Luckily, the principal decided to reassess his test,
and
after that he have điểm tuyệt đối này.
he had the perfect score.
Have
He
a
had
perfect
a
score.
perfect score.
Have a perfect score.
And
The reason why I think he did in a smart way because not because I said that not because the way he tried to reassess his test, but also all the time I learn with him, I see that he always solve problem in a fastest way and also in a smart way.
okay, good. Now, okay, so Mr. Phúc, please, do you think children are born smart or they learn to become smart? What do you think? Like, it's a hard question. It's a hard question. This is about like if children are naturally born smart or they have to learn it from school to be smart. Cái câu hỏi về cái chuyện mà tự nhiên bản chất nó sinh ra nó đã smart hay là phải vô trường học mới trở nên smart được. So what do you think, Mr. Phúc? Okay. So can you answer that question? Do you think children are born smart or they learn to become smart?
Well, I guess that I think that there are some genius people around the world, like Mozart, who display an incredible level of intelligence at a very young age. Uh, but however, I'm inclined to believe that people can learn how to become smarter and more intelligent. For example, children are vulnerable to tricks and scams because they are small and pure. They know nothing about the reality world. But when they get older, they tend to become mature enough to
Mature,
uh,
mature, mature. They become mature enough.
to know instantly if something sounds like a little bit fishy. So this is mainly because they have learned the lessons in the past. So there are various ways for one person to become smarter through their lessons. But of course, there are still some situations that children are born with their a standard of their intelligence.
Mhm. I see. So, Mr. Trung, what do you think? Do you think children are born smart or they learn to become smart?
Yeah. From my point of view, I believe that children are both born smart and become smart. You know,
Oh,
um,
just a moment, please. Right, Mr. Trung, what did you say?
yeah,
Whether
yeah.
children born
From
smart or they learn to become smart? Yeah, what do you think?
I think children both are born smart and learn to become smart. First one, children are actually smart, uh, although they cannot speak. They can signal their parents with their cry and their
Were they
emotion.
crying? Were they crying and shouting, right?
Yeah, yeah. When they need the parental support, and um, after they can walk, talk, uh, and go to school. Um, they learn from a mistake. Um, they learn to become smarter. So children
Yes.
um, both are born smart and become smart as they grow up. Yeah,
Ah, so what you mean is that as they grow up, they become smart. It means they learn to become smart, right?
yeah, yeah, that's right.
So it means that you do not think that they were born smart.
I think, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that could be. Okay, so Mr. Fook, please. So how do children become smart at school? What do you think?
Well, in my opinion, I think that children need to learn about more about um like, like beside what's that called?
Yes.
Uh, mm, mm,
Yes.
first they need to learn all the subject in
Later on, learn all the
school and
subjects. Yeah.
also in school and also they I think that they need to learn more about like art and music to improve their brain and also gaming in fun.
What do you say? Also, what?
Like also the children need to learn more about art and music to like
Art and literature, right? Art and literature. Literature. Ba âm thôi. Literature.
literature,
Literature.
literature,
Literature. Literature. Literature.
literature.
Literature. And literature. Yes. Okay. What else then? Còn gì nữa không? Cố lên Phúc. You can do it. Try hard. You can do it.
Maybe opinions like school maybe need to open more class to teach about emotional to improve their
Yes.
and
All right. Okay. So, Mr. please. So, why are some people well-rounded and others only good at one thing?
I guess that I guess that it depends on the amount of practice. Like it's likely that people who are like accomplished at many skills or areas have devoted thousands of hours to practicing each of them, and they totally deserve their remarkable accomplishments. Like they spend thousands of times to practice each of the things that they want to study about.
Right.
And the average people can only master one skill or become an expert in one area because
Expert.
they
Expert. Nhớ không đâu.
expert
And become an expert in
in one area because they dedicate most of their time to that area, or simply their time management skill isn't as effective as the one of those who are well rounded to manage to study a lot of things at once.
Right, I see. Okay, so Mr. Trung, what do you think? Why some people are well-rounded and others only good at one thing?
I think this can be the genetic. Yeah. Sometimes a person can be given a lot of talents and abilities, and sometimes others uh, uh, can only be good at one thing. Uh, so I believe that the genetic factor play an important role when speaking about one people ability or about whether they are well-rounded or only good at one thing. Yeah.
Yes. All right, so Mr. Trung, why does modern society need talents of all kinds?
Ah, the society include a variety of people. Each people has their own talent. Uh, so with different talent contributes make this different contribution to the society. So modern society definitely need talents of all kinds. For instance, a talent who is good at uh, yeah. So some can be good at being a doctor, some can be good at being a teacher, some can be good at being an entertainer. The society does need talent of all kinds to be better, I think.
Right, I see. What do you think, Mr. Fook? Why does modern society need talents of all kinds? Hello, Mr. Fook, please. Bật mic nè. Come on. So, Microphone on, please. Class, why do you have to turn off all of your microphone? Come on. Tại sao cứ phải tắt mic hoài vậy mấy bạn? Okay, Phúc, please. So, why does modern society need talents of all kinds? Tại sao xã hội lại cần mọi tài năng của tất cả các thứ tài năng? Think about it. Tại sao xã hội có tồn tại dựa vào những tài năng ca hát một mình được không? Think about if society can survive only on singers who can sing. What other talents do we need?
Oh, well, in my opinion, I think that some talent born to some talent born to solve like nói vậy.
Alright, so Tường, what do you think? Why does modern society need talents of all kinds?
I guess the main reason is that we have different jobs, and each job would require different skill set. Like, for example, when we have to build buildings or a skyscraper or a bridge, no single person can build them by themselves. We need a collaboration. And this makes the case for the multi-talented individuals. And individuals, like the architect. So we need many people with different talents to cooperate to make the finished task. And I think that if we share our talent in a society, it's the best way to have a healthy society. And it's much better to have a multi-talented society so that everyone can can contribute something different.
Mọi người đều có thể cống hiến được một cái tài năng nào đó của bản thân. Very good. That's a good way to think about it. Very good. So let's move on to 88 now. Describe an exciting book that you enjoy reading. Miêu tả một cái cuốn sách thú vị mà mình thích đọc. You should say when you read it. Quá khứ nha. When you read it. Bạn đọc nó lúc nào? What kind of book it is? Nó là loại sách nào? What is it about? Loại sách gì vậy? Cái sách nó nói về cái gì? Explain why you think it is exciting. Tại sao mình nghĩ cuốn sách đó là thú vị? And then you have part 3 here. Do people often prefer books or movies and why? Có người ta thường thích sách hay là thích coi phim hơn, tại sao? Do you think it is very important to read the book before watching the movie's version of it? Bạn có nghĩ là mình nên coi sách trước khi mà mình coi cái phiên bản mà người ta biến đổi thành phim của nó hay không? Ví dụ như là từ game thành phim, xong rồi từ cuốn sách, một nội dung sách đó người ta biến thành phim ảnh chẳng hạn, thì mình có nên coi sách trước khi mà mình coi cái phim không? Về nó hay không? So, do boys and girls like the same kinds of books? Các cậu trai, các cô gái có cùng thích những loại sách như nhau không? And what kinds of books do Vietnamese people like reading? Người Việt Nam thích xem những loại sách nào nhất? Alright, you have some time to think now. Okay, let's do it now. Tường, please, can you describe an exciting book that you enjoy reading? Now, bật mic. Mr.
Well,
okay, got it.
I would like to tell you about the book that I was totally into it. I can read and rely on my bed and read it from all the times. It was Seven Steps to the Summer. It's a Vietnamese book of a Vietnamese author named called nhắn. So this book was about a story between two children who live in the countryside of their town, so that they spent their summer vacation together at all the times. They experiment so many outdoor activities, such as hide and seek, tug of war, or they played so many traditional Vietnamese uh, outdoor activities.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that at the first time I read this book, I didn't have so many expectation because I had read some reviews about the books online, and they said that this book was kind of tedious and boring due to the flow of the story and the plot, and also the characters in the book. But after finishing reading the books, I had so many memories
Mm-hmm.
with at my childhood because the book had brought up my old bad memories when I was a child playing these kinds of activities with my friends. So I guess it was a real. I am totally highly recommend this book for those who want to get to know more about Vietnamese traditional things.
What things? What things? Nghe bắt đầu
Uh,
vague rồi đó, bắt đầu chung chung rồi đó. Careful.
okay.
What things? Alright, so tell me, Mr. Trung, please describe an exciting book that you enjoy reading, can you?
Yeah. So there was a book that I enjoy reading very much. The book is called A Little Book of Colors. It was the book is about, yeah, as the name suggests, it is all about the colors. It gives us the readers a brief history of the colors and how the colors affect
A lot of gì? A lot
our
of gì?
a lot of colors, uh, and how the colors, how they affect our lives, and the way we could utilize the colors to express our personalities. Mm. In my opinion, this book is exciting because it gives me uh, a different aspects on the colors. They are not just red, white, blue, or yellow. They are more inside. Uh, they're more inside the colors. Uh, uh, for example, you can use the red to to to, to excite people, or
What kind of red?
the
Because not all kind of red excite people, you know. Đâu phải màu đỏ nào cũng làm cho người ta thú vị đâu. Có những màu đỏ cũng rất kinh. You know what I mean? Okay. But actually you're right. The color red excite people. That's why people use red in restaurants and eateries, những chỗ ăn uống, you know, to make people hungry.
and the blue has a calm effect. So I think this book is exciting, and there's more psychological um, psycho- uh,
Okay. That's what I think is exciting. Okay.
uh,
Alright, Phúc, please describe an exciting book you enjoy reading. Mặc dù em không thích đọc sách
Well,
thì em vẫn phải nghĩ đến một cái gì đó nha.
well,
Even if
actually,
you
I
don't like book
don't.
reading, you still need to think about something, you know. Ngôn tình gì đó, something like that.
Well, I'm not a people who like
I'm
to
not a
read book,
person
but
who so it I'm
I'm
not a
not a
person
person
who
who I'm not a person who like to read book. Actually, I was interested on book
in I was
like
interested in
I'm interested in novel. And also book talk about like talk about clinical psychology,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe book talk about psychology because actually it's quite good. And I remember that
Yes.
last year I read a book about
I read a book. Trời
clinical.
ơi, quá
I read
hứ.
a
Last
book
year I read a book about.
clinical psychology,
Mm-hmm.
and actually it's quite good. We talk about like uh, famous killers and kidnappers, and
Wow, that sounds like interesting about kidnappers, huh?
yeah,
Bắt cóc
and
trẻ nhỏ.
and also I think it's interested because
It's
it's
interesting
not
because
interesting because it's not only talk about the clinical psychology, but it
also
also talk about how the nhà tâm lý học là gì này?
how the psychologist
How the psychologists um,
can decipher the psychology of people.
how the psychologists decode the murder or the kidnap.
Very good. Decode the murder or the kidnapper or the
Yeah.
kidnap. Very good. Rất tốt.
And I also have three books talk about critical psychologies and also the psychology book. It's quite good.
Right, I see. Okay, now let's continue with the next one. So, Mr. Trung, please. Do people often prefer books or movies, and why? What do you think?
Okay. So, I believe that books appeared before the movies, but uh, uh, right now, books and movies both have uh, the a really big fan base. It's really hard to tell
It's really
uh,
hard to tell, yeah.
whether people prefer books or movies because they are on good source of entertainment.
Yeah, oh, good source of entertainment. Okay, very good. So, Mr. Trung, do you think it is very important to read the book before watching the movie version of it?
Uh, I don't think it is very important to read the book before watching the movie version of it. You,
Why?
yeah, okay. So when adapting a book into a movie, the film producer make a lot of change to make the details of the book in the book more appealing to the vast audiences. Yeah, and watching the movie version feels like enjoying gives a different experience for the original story coming from the book. So whether you read the book before watching the movie or not, there's not much difference.
There's not much different, but what do you think, folk Dan? Do you think it's important to read the book before watching the movie version of it? Like, for example, you know Detective Conan, right? Thám tử lừng danh Conan, right? Oh, wait, folk, you said you need to go. Okay, you can go now. So, Tường, please, do you think it is very important to read the book before watching the movie version of it?
Well, I guess as a book lover, I really highly recommend that people should read the book first before watching the movie version of it, due to the fact that there's so many details that cannot be appeared in a movie, since the movies can only last for 1 to 3 hours each of them. So I guess that if the readers want to get to know more about flow of the plot, or to know more about the details in the stories of the characters, we should read the books first in order to have the overall understanding about the story or about the messages that the author want to provide to us before watching it. But actually, that because some movies they are, like, let me see, like they they are well directed and produced, so they can manage to retain the thrill and the messages to the audience. So
The
yeah,
audience, yep.
the audience. So actually, that it depend upon.
I see. Right, okay, so Mr. Trung, do boys and girls like the same kinds of books? What do you think? Ráng cố gắng làm dài cái nội dung trả lời nha mọi người. Try to make it longer.
Boys and girls are different. Therefore, they don't like the same kind of books. For instance, most of the boys like to read the action, the superheroes, the comics, and while most girls I know love reading the books about cooking or self-care or novel or love
Self-care or
stories.
self-help.
Yeah.
Sách tự giúp bản thân hay còn sách là sách self-help. Self-help books are always there.
Yeah. And they even bring the self-help books content to their story.
Oh my god, it's terrible.
And even apply the rules, the suggestions in the self-help books onto how they interact with people, or how to manage their love lives. Okay.
Oh my god, it's terrible. Don't ever follow those things.
Yeah, so because due to the difference in the mindset, girls have always tend to read different kinds of books.
I see, okay. Right, so what do you think, though? Do boys and girls like the same kind of books?
Well, actually, in general, that there's a few differences in the books read by boys and girls. Like boys mostly like read science fiction or action-based literature, so they want to read the books who contain adventures or heroes, or the actions characters to help them to explore the new world. Boys are discouraged at a young age from liking romantic or dramatic books, and are instead encouraged to read nonfiction or action books. So I guess, and for girls, tend to read romantic books, or magazines about fashion. So a lot of girls in my friend circle prefer to read the magazines or the books about girly things. So they tend to read the magazines more than the boys. But I guess that there are still situations that it depends on their ages and their personalities. Because some of my friends as girls, they do like read the books that sounds it
That's supposed
that
to be for boys, right?
they're supposed to be for boys, because they just simply love the characters and the pictures or the images in the book, so they really love them. And of course, some boys do love magazines and books that actually for girls. They tend to buy them home and enjoy them with their sisters or something.
Right, I see. So, Mr. Trung, what kinds of books do Vietnamese people like reading? What do you think?
Yeah,
English
Um,
vocabulary V1. English grammar G1. Not those books, right? Those are my books. Those are the books that I wrote, but probably not the one Vietnamese people like reading.
yeah. As a Vietnamese, I have to admit that Vietnamese people don't have the habit of reading the books. Okay, for instance, most students they don't care to read book, uh, uh, even though the books are really important for them to before taking the test or learning any subject. They only read when the materials are given to them. So I don't think Vietnamese people like reading at all. Yeah.
Nah, they don't. Trust me. Well, the majority of Vietnamese don't really like reading. They like watching like short videos and very fast content, you know. Mấy cái nào mà nhanh nhanh lẹ lẹ mới coi chứ. That's what they are. What do you think, Tương? What kinds of books do Vietnamese people like reading?
Well, I think that for some book lovers, they may be separated into some, group. As for, as for the old readers, they tend to place a greater emphasis on historical books or
Historical books, yeah.
Yeah, because like probably they are more fascinated by those books than their young counterparts. And for some young readers, because not mostly the young generations today reading. So maybe they tend to be interested in some personal development books and novels, especially the romance stories or science fiction. So yeah, I think that there are a wide range of books that Vietnamese will find interested in.
We'll find interesting, yeah. Okay, very good. I think that's good for today, I think. Okay, that's the end of my videos. Please like, share this video with your friends, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and press on the bell button next to the subscribe button so you can get notified about my new uploads, okay? You can also press follow my Facebook, but please don't add me on Facebook as friends, okay? Cảm ơn các bạn đã theo dõi nha. Các bạn hãy nhấn vào like, chia sẻ video này bạn bè các bạn. Nhấn vào nút đăng ký kênh YouTube mình và nút cái chuông kế bên cạnh để đăng ký kênh á, để mà các bạn sẽ được thông báo về những video mới nha. Các bạn cũng có thể nhấn vào nút theo dõi Facebook mình, nhưng nhớ đừng kết bạn Facebook mình nha. Thank you and see you. Bye.